Friends, war is continuing in Ukraine, but before that, a revolutionary salute to martyr Bhagat Singh, who was hanged by the British imperialism today in 1931, along with his two comrades, Sukhdev and Rajguru. Not only because they were fighting against British imperialism, they wanted India to be free from imperialist powers, but also that he wanted, that was the vision of his party, Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, that India after independence must follow socialist path, like what they had seen, known, read about Bolshevik revolution and Russia then after, or USSR. Now today being 28th day of war, on political front, one news I must share with you, that Chernihiv mayor has openly said that he had ordered Ukrainian army in his province, Oblast, that they must not allow the civilians to vacate the province because they must fight the Russian army, as well as they have to be used as shield against Russian army. Well, in the meantime, protest against NATO and even US is increasing. Even inside USA, there had been protest against NATO, not only in US, but even in Europe and other countries like Tunisia. And also there have been protests against the rising prices of oil and natural gases, petrol, diesel, etc. Now from within, Zelensky has given the idea, at least he has talked about that whatever the outcome of peace talks between his country and that of Russia would be put to referendum to the people of Ukraine, whether they accept or not. And this has been termed as delay tactics by Russian spokesperson Peskov. That is to be seen what happens. Whose idea was this? From where did this Zelensky picked up? We have no clue. In the meantime, Zelensky has also said that his whole idea of resisting Russia was to seek defense for Ukraine, security for Ukraine from Russia as well as NATO. What an idea. And also said that NATO is scared of Russia. It is immaterial, it is not important. Now, on economic front, the sanction, counter-sanctions, effect, counter-effects globally is being seen, noticed already, will be seen further, and its calculations are beyond imagination at present. But in short, I'll be talking on this again when I conclude my talk. In the meantime, Chinese Foreign Ministry has said that Chinese companies have been asked to continue their cooperation, trade and economic relations with that of Russian companies unhindered. That was to happen. On military front, as far as territorial capture, recapture is concerned, there has been hardly much changes. However, the DPR has claimed that 50% of Mariupol is liberated. And Nazi's forces, which was close to 14,000 few days back, now has been depleted almost 50%. And high-rising buildings are being cleared from where Nazis have taken the position, and even in dugouts. And the trophy weapons are being used. Trophy weapons, they refer to the weapons which has been supplied by NATO, USA to Ukraine army but seized by Russians and LPR, DPR. In the meantime, the bombing, shelling by Russian army has increased all around north, south as well as western Ukraine. and new areas have been opened up. Like Kharkiv is under heavy rocket shelling since yesterday night and even earlier. The satellite images I will be sharing with you. Chernihiv is another places where it is being done. Kyiv selected attacks are rising. One of the small villages or suburbs have been recaptured by Ukraine army as they claim. In Kyiv, the Obulun is under again heavy firing. Mariupol now is ready for direct fight between Russian and Ukrainian army. As the evacuation is almost complete, another 7,000 left yesterday. If war continues, prolongs, yes, more will vacate, but then direct war is poised. But when that will happen and when will it finally completely be free from Ukraine army, we can't say. In the meantime, peace talk may precede this, but will Russians agree for this? I am not sure. Now coming to north, rather east, even Donetsk is seeing this. The western part of Donetsk and Lugansk are under heavy attack. And one of their airfield has been Kramatorsk, has been under missile attack, and huge fire have been noticed there. Same thing in Krivoy and Rivine. That is continuing. That the selected targets are being destroyed by Russian missiles, whether they are using hypersonic missiles or not, but this is continuing. Well, that is as far as the war scenario is concerned. The details, if any, you must ask the questions, or if you know it, please comment. Now to conclude, before that, few more inputs from my side. One is of Somalia, far away from Ukraine, where as per UNO, more than 7,300 children are starving. It is a form of war, friends. 7,300, Somalia. More than 10,000 in Yemen. I don't remember number of women and children being killed, murdered directly by Israelis in captured area of Palestinians. Well, some other time if I get opportunity to talk on them. UNO has again said that 1/3 of food supply is under restriction because of war in Ukraine. And even energy supply, we know, we have talked about this. And therefore, shortage of the supply of food as well as energy and the price rise. But the sale of arms and ammunitions from the war industries of European Union as well as USA is rising. They are flooding in Eastern Europe and elsewhere as well. The profitability has become very high. If you are in that region and elsewhere and your government is buying them, if not you, your next generations will be paying them, or already you are paying for what your earlier generations had done it, not resisted. Grip of imperialism or individual governments over the people, which we thought has coming to somehow in equilibrium after coronavirus pandemic, has again risen due to this war. The question is very clear. It is already there last centuries or so. I mean, if not 1 century, even earlier to that. But then, especially after Second World War, when we thought that socialist camp was victorious and will be free of war. Or the question which I am going to pose is again worse than ever: barbarism or socialism? In other ways, savage or humanity? Climate crisis or regenerative power of earth letting us or sustaining our lives? Capital in various forms, including like finance capital, fake capital, versus working people. Private property versus social wealth. Production for profit or production for our consumption then children would not be dying if production is for consumption, because we have excess production, and that's why children are dying, starving. That's why we have the war. Thank you, friends.